I think it's time we blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Ladies and Gentiles, it is I, Dick Thunderlips, here for your DTF Recaparoo for all of the action in Week 4 of your Heroes of Fantasy Football League. And we're going to start things off with the biggest shit on a chest I have seen in a while. A big steaming honker, folks, as No Chance in Hell JSizzle proceeded to drop a $1.85 on poor Danny boy, dropping Danny to 0-4, and he scored 98, enough to beat some of the real dregs of the earth here, but not exactly a hot sauce performance from him. But, you know, when you get a $1.85 dropped on you, well, frankly, he could have scored 50 this week and felt good about it, you know what I mean? Anyway, CJ's clicking on all gears. I don't know what's going on. Debo Samuel looking like Megatron out.
Is there anyone in the universe who'll challenge the might of Megatron?
There, it's redonkulous, folks. JSizzle going to 2-2 and looking like he could be a real force in this league, while Danny Boy's 0-4 and looking like he could be the worst team in the fucking league. It's pathetic. But hey, he has high hopes. I talked to him. He says he has the greatest 0-4 team of all time. We'll see next week when he attempts to get that first dub of the season. Meanwhile, we had a real close but koozie here as two teams locked in Mortal Kombat. Home Improvement, JSizzle's team, facing off against Zack's Fits in the Tantrums. And folks, let me tell you something. These two had quite the show. Now, neither of them scored particularly well. Danny Boy would have beat both of them. But hey, what matters is that Zack scored 94.2 and JSizzle scored 93.1. That's right, folks. A point between them to decide the dub. And frankly, it's a heartbreaker, folks. JSizzle could have played different dudes, but hey, so could have Zack. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Zachariah goes over to a very robust 3-1. Zack looking good, and JSizzle wondering where he went wrong in life. And let me tell you, it was when you were born with those baby blues, bitch. Anywho, on to the next one. Another tough L was hung on the back of Matthew J. Segovia, the man with the 80s plan, who's been changing his team names to go with 80s sitcoms and is feeling the need for a little Blue Thunder, just couldn't get it done against Adrian. Who now is, they've updated their team names for next week, so that's neither here nor there, but let's just say Adrian went over a $1.17, goes to 3-1 to 113, dropping Matt's 0-4. It's gotta hurt. Matt's team, no slouch, but just couldn't get it done again. But will Adrian be the first to pop Dance Cherry as his new team name is threatening? We'll find out this next week, folks. Stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, he was slightly embarrassed by Tyree. So let's see how Tyree did. And for that matter, Tyree finally changed his team name after being goaded by Dick himself to I'm never naming this team. And then deservingly got his ass whipped because he only scored 60 points as the professor dropped a paltry 80 and still somehow got the win. It's amazing how you just drag your opponent down into the gutter with you, but hey, Oscar doesn't care. The professor goes to 3-1 somehow, some way, dropping only 80 as Tyree goes to 2-2 with his hot new team name that will never be named ever again. Tyree has plenty of time to continue embarrassing his daddy, Adrian. So stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, the other team that I much pressured into changing their team name decided to also drop an L. The real Flash Gordon is now all Dan's fault, as Steven Naramore drops a hundy, but it isn't enough against Mr. Ricky G, the Rodeo Clowns, dropping a $131.3 on Steven Naramore. Ricky G going to 4-0, Naramore dropping to 2-2 with the deuces. It hurts so good for Ricky G as he rides the scary Terry, I can't even talk, I'm so scared, train to Hurtsville with Ezekiel Elliott, who still loves to eat. And eat he will as Ricky G stands atop the mountain at 4-0, folks. Meanwhile, here we have it, the tale of two cities. as old Jose L. Valdez, Obi-Wan Mahomey, drops $130 and drives Los Muchachos Freddy to drop $142, folks. This is just how this works. You score low, your opponent scores low. It's a sad day. You pop off, your opponent pops off harder. You hate to see it. Both these teams now 2-2. It's a hot season, folks. It's a hot one here. And more importantly, we have a tale of two free agencies. You see, old Al went hard and fast for Chase Hubbard and picked up that Bills D. Bills D with the hot sauce, 23 points. Mr. Hubba Dubba Dubbard, not so much. Mr. McCaffrey's out. Hubba Dub didn't do as much, splitting time with some other folks, only scoring 8. But hey, the rest of Al's team still popping off. Mahomey carrying the load, but Freddy, oh mio, mayo, even with the QB only dropping 13, when you got Tyree dropping 42, and your free agency pickup, Cordarrelle Patterson, dropping 32 points, folks. It's a hot one out there. It's Freddy picking up a big one right here as his team looks to right the ship. And Al, sorry about your damn luck. If you take a look at the Standaroos real quick, you will see that Ricky G standing atop the mountain at 4-0. And there's a few 3-1s as the pack starts to clear. Old Zack fits in the tantrums. Adrian and the Professor Oscarito, all 3-1. Whether or not their teams look up to par as a whole other story. Meanwhile, JSizzle's no chance in hell sits atop the 2-2 mountain with a bunch of other teams. You got Al, you got Freddy, you got Steven Naramore and Tyree. But hey, these fools, they named their teams. They took L's. What do I know? Go back to your old team names, folks. Meanwhile, JSizzle sitting at 1-3, just trying to claw back into mediocrity. And the 80s phenom Matthew J. Segovia and Danny Boy vying for last place. Ouch. But you know, that's not all there is to it all the time, folks, because you know what else there is? You gotta look at those points that they've been scoring. You're gonna see JSizzle is the top scoring team in the league, followed by L and Ricky G, and then Freddy. I mean, there's no reason. These guys aren't at the top of the mountain for a reason. L's gotta be, L and CJ just tough luck. Top scoring teams, but just getting shit on the other side. When we look at the lowest scored against, Tyree and Ricky G and the Professor, it's no secret that the teams that are at the top of the mountain usually aren't getting shit on. And if you flip it around, folks, old Danny Boy, 542 scored against. That's how you do it. Meanwhile, old Freddy, a high-scoring team getting shit on. You hate to see it. It's going to be, there's plenty of juice left, folks. Get the moves going. Get the trades going. Dick loves it. Get in hard and fast while you can, but act today. Because if you don't, you might find yourself limp across the finish line, and nothing's worse than limp dick. You know what I mean. Anywho, that's it for now, baby. Get those lineups in for week 5 and get your money over to the Professor if you haven't. And for now, dicks out, baby.